In this video, we're going to talk through a really powerful new feature in version 2.4 of the MLS-X1 software, and it's called Fill Adjust Mode. It allows you to do pan and scan type cropping on a key resizer. So we get one of those on every single key in your MLS-X1. So let's take a look at a worked example of how we can use that. I'm going to come over to ME3 here, where I've built a basic set of 16:9 full screen two-way boxes. Now sometimes, for creative reasons, we might decide to go to a more portrait look with our boxes, something like that. And that's great if our shots all line up perfectly with it. And if we can frame our cameras to do so, that's great. But let's say we're limited in our shots and we need some singles with some nice looking room for cutting in, but we also want to use a split screen box. So we find ourselves in a situation where we need both the subject on camera to be offset slightly some of the time and centered some of the other time. So there's no ideal situation here other than cropping the boxes in. Of course, we could build our boxes that way, but that would then be challenging to do on air if we have shots moving around. What we really need is an easy way to move those shots underneath the cropped out boxes whilst we're on air, ready to take the effect. So what I'm going to do is show you on two other keys on the ME, on top of this effect, how we can build this with Fill Adjust Mode. So I'm going to turn on key 3, which has the same source and isn't resized at the moment. And I'm going to turn the resizer on in the menu, resizer, and then I'm going to go to the resizer process page and I'm going to turn on Fill Adjust Mode. Now you'll see next to Fill Adjust Mode we have the key masking options. So I'm going to turn on the key mask and I'm going to shape the box using my encoders in menu mode over here to match the box on the left hand side that I've already created. So instead of moving the image first, I'm going to do the edges first with a mask. I can also use a pattern mask to do this and move that around, but in this case I'm just doing a simple box mask, and I've got full box control as well. That means I can add soft edges should I require, like that. Or I could use any of the patterns in the switcher and generate a pattern mask. So you'll see I've now cropped the image using the mask tool. Now because Fill Adjust Mode is on, if I say come over to my trackball and start moving the key around, you'll see that the edges don't move, but the image does. So straight away, very quickly, I've got an effect that's only using one keyer and the resizer on that keyer. I'll turn everything else off for a moment. I'm using one single key, key 3 in this case, and I'm panning and scanning the image underneath. So that means I can take the shot, get the subject exactly where they need to be, and save the effect like that. And if later the shot moves, or I need a different shot, I've got a very quick way on my trackball of moving that image around and finding the subject wherever they may be in frame, like that. So on air, that's super easy to do while mixing my show. I can do that and I don't need to resave effects. I don't need to touch the edges. Those edges will not move as long as I leave the key in Fill Adjust Mode. So let's bring our subject over again. And then let's look at our other set of boxes. So you can see my original box there. I'm going to take that source again, and I'm on key 4 this time. I'm going to turn the resizer on, go into Fill Adjust Mode, and again, I can use my key mask options to shape this box. I could even use the pattern mask options to do this even easier. So I'm going to choose a pattern that's a crop out from the center, and I'm going to size my box about 50% where it is, and then I'm going to use the position controls on that to move that mask. So if I wanted to go top to bottom on the screen, that's a really quick way to achieve that. I haven't had to mess with any other parameters, and again, because I'm in Fill Adjust Mode, I can then grab my image underneath and get the framing just right for those boxes. And straight away, again, if I need to move the image around, if I need to change the source, that's really easy now for me to work with. I could use any other image in there and very quickly I can find my subject. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, where I am on the show, without too much thinking, I can find exactly what I need and put it in the box. And again, that only uses one key, and you've got this on every single key in the switcher. So on an 8 key ME, I can do this 8 times for 8 boxes. And that's a really efficient way to build two-way boxes for news, sport, or whatever coverage you're doing, and it's a really powerful feature, brand new in version 2.4 of the MLS-X1.